Oh, look at you. You beautiful disaster of a human being. Hey there, walking proof that God gives his toughest scripts to the ones the world calls unqualified. Yeah, I'm talking to you. The one everybody counted out before you even started. The one with scars that ain't just emotional. They're etched into your entire identity. See, they don't know what it cost you to still be standing. But I do. Let's get something straight from the jump. The assignment on your life was brutal. And that's no metaphor. That's not cute wording. That's not some feel-good Instagram quote. No, what you've lived through would have annihilated most people. And I'm not talking about some little inconvenience. I'm talking betrayal so deep it made your bones cold. I'm talking nights where your own thoughts turned into enemies, where your dreams felt like a setup, where silence wasn't peace, it was war. You ever wake up and feel like the whole world's moving, but you're stuck in emotional cement? Like you're screaming inside and nobody can hear you through that polite smile you wear in public. You ever walk into rooms where everyone's laughing and you feel like the ghost? Yeah, that's the battlefield no one sees. That's the kind of war your assignment dragged you into. And yet, here you are, still breathing, still dangerous, still showing up to life like it doesn't owe you a damn thing. Because you already took back what it tried to steal. They said you were too soft, too broken, too quiet, too weird, too much, too little, too emotional, too lost. But you weren't too anything. You were just in training for a level they didn't even know existed. And here's the kicker. What was meant to destroy you built you. You didn't just survive the impossible. You became the thing that makes the impossible nervous. You adapted. You evolved in silence. You let the suffering sharpen you instead of softening you. See, most people run from pain. You walked into it with your fists clenched and said, "Is this it? Is this all you've got?" You took pain and made it your pre-workout. You turned heartbreak into rocket fuel. You didn't just cry, you bled purpose. You became so damn resilient, even your lowest points started whispering, "They can't be broken. They're built for this." They have no idea how many times you were ready to tap out, how many times you sat alone whispering, "Greater than I don't think I can do this anymore." And then you did it anyway. They don't see the 1,000 invisible deaths you died just to evolve. The versions of yourself you had to kill off. The dreams you had to bury. The people you had to walk away from. The nights you screamed into the pillow so the world wouldn't hear your breaking point. They just see the result. They see the miracle. They don't see the massacre that made it. Listen to me. You were chosen for something viciously divine. Not because you were the smartest, the strongest, or the most perfect, but because you were willing to walk through fire without asking for applause. You were assigned pain, and you didn't negotiate. You were assigned delay, and you didn't fold. You were assigned silence, and you learned to hear your own voice louder. You were assigned pressure, and you made diamonds out of it. This world rewards the polished, but you're not here to be pretty. You're here to be proof that broken people can still build empires, that misfits can still wear crowns, that trauma survivors can become trendsetters, that the ones who walked alone end up leading armies. So yeah, the assignment was brutal. But so are you. You didn't get softer. You got smarter. You got sharper. You stopped waiting to be saved and started saving yourself. You stopped asking for space and started taking up room. You learned that pressure wasn't your prison. It was your permission. Permission to grow. Permission to scream. Permission to demand more. Permission to reinvent your damn self without apologizing. And you didn't just do what they said couldn't be done. You did it while bleeding, while confused, while broke, while lonely, while doubting yourself. You did it with a heart that had every reason to shut down, but kept beating anyway. You did it without the claps, without the support, without the map. You did it raw, you did it real, you did it dirty, and now the same people who once side-eyed your suffering are watching in awe as you turn your wounds into wisdom. There's power in what you carry. There's glory in your scars, and there's destiny tattooed across your resilience. You stopped trying to prove yourself to people who couldn't even carry a fraction of what you've been through. They were judging your life like it was a highlight reel, not knowing it was a documentary full of plot twists, cliffhangers, and scenes that damn near broke you. And you're not even mad about it anymore. You're just done explaining. Because when life throws the kind of weight at you that bends your soul, not your spine, you start moving different. You used to crave validation like oxygen. Now you breathe just fine without it. You used to post your wins hoping they'd clap. Now you're stacking victories in silence. And half the people who doubted you don't even have clearance to watch the growth. That shift wasn't petty, it was vital. Because when you realize your peace is more expensive than their opinions, you stop putting your energy up for clearance sale. You start recognizing the cost of constantly showing up for people who disappear the moment you got quiet. It hits different when you stop chasing love and start respecting your own capacity. When you stop begging to be seen and instead you build your own spotlight, you start loving yourself on a level that makes other people question if they ever did. You learned how to heal with no applause, to rebuild with no blueprint, to walk through hell with nothing but instinct and grit and come out looking like you never even flinched. But you did flinch. A lot. Behind the scenes. Behind the I'm good texts and the forced laughs. Behind the resilience everyone praises but never helps you carry. They'll never understand what it's like to be the strong one, to be the go-to, to carry the emotional weight of everyone else while your own world feels like it's falling apart in silence. And still, you kept showing up, not because you had the strength, but because you refused to stay down. Because something in you said, if I quit here, I'll never see what I was built for. That inner voice, that whisper that barely had volume left, that was your soul reminding you who you are, not what they said, not what the trauma tried to make you believe, not the lies you inherited from broken systems and tired cycles. You're the one who broke the pattern. You're the one who stood up when it would have been easier to numb out. You're the one who took the L's and turned them into language, so others could understand what survival really looks like. You made it through the part of life that was designed to end you, not metaphorically, literally, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and nobody handed you a map. You navigated that mess with faith, raw instinct, and pure stubborn refusal to stay broken. Now your presence carries weight. People don't even know why they respect you. They just feel it. Because pain imprints wisdom, and wisdom walks different. You're not angry, you're aware, you're not guarded, you're discerning, you're not unapproachable. You're just not available for nonsense anymore. You're not the same version of you that walked into the fire. You're something the fire couldn't burn. And that kind of energy, it's rare. It's loud even when you're silent. It's the reason people stare a little longer when you walk into a space. They feel what you survived, even if you never say a word. That's why your silence isn't emptiness. It's volume control. You got tired of explaining storms to people who only recognize sunshine. Tired of trying to translate your depth to folks who only skim life at surface level. You realize that some people don't want the real you. They want the version that's easier to digest. The version that doesn't challenge their comfort, doesn't expose their lack of growth, doesn't remind them they've been playing it safe while you've been out here bleeding purpose into pavement. You stopped trying to shrink your pain into poetic little quotes, stopped turning your breakdowns into motivational captions for likes. Because this shati isn't aesthetic, it's real. It's waking up with anxiety gripping your chest and still making moves. It's crying in the shower so no one hears you, then walking out like nothing happened. It's doing life on hard mode and making it look like level 1. People don't get it. They see the strength, they don't see the cost. They don't see what it took to get out of bed that morning. They don't see how your smile is stitched together with willpower and prayers. They just assume you're built different, when really, you were just given pain and no choice but to learn how to carry it with grace. You've been the rock for everybody else while your own world was crumbling, kept showing up, kept giving, kept being the one they leaned on, while nobody ever stopped to ask, "Are you okay?" But you got used to it. You stopped expecting rescue. You stopped hoping someone would see behind the mask. You taught yourself how to hold it down without applause, without comfort, without backup. You made a home inside your own strength, and once you did that, you became unshakable. Not because you're cold, not because you don't feel anymore, but because your foundation was rebuilt during earthquakes. You stopped begging for closure and started creating your own peace. Stopped chasing people who ghosted your growth. Started pouring into your own cup like your life depends on it, because it actually does. And people think it's confidence, but it's really just boundaries. They think it's ego, but it's actually self-respect finally being enforced. They call it a glow-up. But this is what healing in private looks like when it finally hits the surface. You learned that the same silence they mistook for weakness was the same space you used to level up. That disappearing wasn't quitting, it was rebuilding. And when you came back, different tone, different posture, different energy. Not because you changed, but because you remembered who the hell you were before life tried to rewrite your script. You stopped looking for a seat at the table and realized you were always the damn table. Carrying weight, feeding souls, holding space, building from scratch. Every time they overlooked you, you grew in places they couldn't see. Every time they counted you out, you added value where they never checked. Every time they doubted you, you doubled up. On focus, on healing, on fire. You started walking with that quiet kind of confidence. The type that doesn't beg to be seen, but can't be ignored. That earned energy. The kind you only get from being dragged through rock bottom with nothing but your name and your nerve. You started talking less because your life started speaking for you. Your glow wasn't just outer, it was spiritual. It was survival turned into frequency. People felt it without even knowing why their chest got tight around you. You became that person who doesn't flinch when the room shifts, who doesn't panic when the plan falls apart, who doesn't lose their mind when everything goes sideways, because you've already lived in chaos and somehow still found rhythm in it. You've already walked through days where your insides felt like concrete, and your mind was screaming 24/7, and your body was barely holding on, and still, you got up, brushed your teeth, faced the world like your soul wasn't limping. You learned how to stabilize your own emotions while managing other people's projections. You learned how to keep moving through triggers like landmines, stepping carefully, breathing through the flashbacks, reminding yourself every 2 minutes that you're not who you used to be, even though the pain still echoes like you are. And nobody taught you how to do that. You figured it out in real time, in the trenches, in the darkness where nobody clapped and nobody noticed. You mastered survival on a level that became second nature, like muscle memory, like instinct. You became the type of person who doesn't fear endings anymore, because you've rebuilt too many times from scratch to be scared of losing anything that's not meant for you. You stopped chasing closure and started choosing clarity. You started asking real questions. Does it feed me? Does it see me? Does it drain me? Does it keep me small? And if the answer didn't serve your growth, you cut it. Not out of spite, out of self-preservation. Because this version of you, the one forged in fire and silence and lonely nights and deep inner work, doesn't have time for half connections or fake peace. You stopped reaching out to people who never reach back, stopped explaining your boundaries to those who benefited from your lack of them, stopped watering dead plants just to prove you're loyal. You realized that you're not hard to love. You just stopped accepting love that felt like survival mode. And the wild part is, people started noticing, not because you said anything, but because your energy started rejecting what used to attract you. You don't entertain chaos anymore. You don't bite your tongue just to keep the peace. You don't fake laugh at conversations that drain your spirit. You don't shrink around fragile egos who feel threatened by your shine. Because when you've lost yourself and fought tooth and nail to get back, you protect that version of you like it's sacred, because it is. You stopped entertaining rooms where you had to dilute your power just to make people feel comfortable. Stopped forcing connections that felt like obligation in disguise. Stopped performing humility for crowds that only applauded your pain, but got silent every time you started to win. You realized being real would cost you people, but being fake was costing you yourself. You started trusting your gut again. The same gut they told you was too emotional, too sensitive, too reactive. But that same gut kept you alive. That same gut pulled you out of places where your heart would have stayed out of loyalty. That same gut said, leave, when your hope said, maybe it'll change. That same gut whispered, you're not crazy, you're just waking up. And you stopped second-guessing it. You stopped needing 12 signs and a committee vote just to make a decision. Because when you've spent enough time being pulled in every direction but your own, you get real serious about moving with intention. You stopped answering calls that left you feeling smaller after hanging up. Stopped over-explaining your silence to people who never noticed your presence. Stopped giving unlimited access to people who treated your time like it was disposable. You started choosing your peace with the same urgency you once chose approval. And everything changed. Your standards got higher. Your circle got smaller. Your time got more expensive. Your heart got wiser. And your focus? Laser. No more distractions dressed as potential. No more emotional labor with no return. No more babysitting people's comfort while your own needs rot in the background. You're not cold. You're just clear. You're not distant. You're just done overextending. You're not heartless. You're just finally choosing you without guilt tied to it. You spent too many seasons being everything for everyone and nothing for yourself. Too many nights begging God for relief with your jaw clenched and your faith on E. Too many moments where you questioned if it would ever shift, if it would ever lighten, if the weight would ever lift. But you kept going, not because you had it all figured out, but because something in you refused to believe this was all there was. And that something, that unexplainable fire that kept you breathing when you wanted to disappear, that wasn't weakness, that wasn't luck. That was your assignment pulling you forward, even when your legs couldn't. That was the universe saying, you're not done. You've still got more to give. You've still got more to become. You stopped needing life to make sense before you moved. Started showing up with fear still in your chest, still shaking, still second-guessing, but moving anyway. Started realizing that clarity doesn't come from waiting. It comes from walking, and the version of you they see today. That version was built in the hallway between closed doors and unanswered prayers. You started breaking patterns without fanfare. Generational curses, you faced them without a blueprint. Emotional trauma, you unpacked it while still carrying the weight of responsibilities no one else stepped up for. You healed wounds you didn't cause and chose peace in places where pain was the family heirloom. You did the emotional labor in silence and still showed up for work, for your people, for your goals, like you weren't unraveling behind the scenes. You mastered functioning while flooded, smiling while scarred, progressing while panicking. And they'll never understand how many miracles had to happen in private just for you to function in public. How many internal wars you won just to hold a conversation without crying. How many nights you clutched your own chest just to breathe through the ache nobody saw. You became your own safe space because the people you thought would catch you either didn't notice you falling or didn't know how to hold someone that heavy with purpose. You stopped begging for a seat at the table and built your own, out of scraps if you had to. Knees shaken, eyes swollen, but heart open. You turned isolation into preparation, turned loneliness into insight, turned heartbreak into a damn curriculum. And they call it strength, but you know better. It wasn't strength. It was refusal. Refusal to go numb. Refusal to give up. Refusal to let the trauma have the last word, because every time life tried to press delete on you, you chose rewrite. Every time it tried to silence you, you spoke louder, even if your voice cracked, even if no one listened, even if you didn't fully believe your own words yet. You weren't waiting to feel ready. You were bleeding purpose in real time. You are becoming the kind of person who doesn't just walk through fire. You learn the rhythm of it. You dance in it. You make it your stage without asking for a round of applause. Because this was never about recognition. It was always about liberation, yours. You weren't chasing a comeback story to impress anybody. You were clawing your way out just to feel like yourself again. Not the broken version, not the performative one, not the watered-down survival mode shell everybody got used to. The real you. The you that existed before the betrayals, before the trauma rewired your instincts, before life started stacking losses like a scoreboard you never agreed to play on. You started remembering that before the burnout, before the overthinking, before you became the therapist to everyone but yourself, there was light in you. There was voice. There was fire that wasn't fueled by pain, but by possibility. And you started chasing that version of you like your life depended on it. Because it did. Because staying small was killing your spirit faster than failure ever could. You began unlearning the lies that told you being exhausted meant being valuable, that saying yes made you worthy, that staying quiet made you wise, that struggling alone was noble. You started moving like your peace was the priority, not the bonus prize at the end. Started turning your phone off mid-conversation when the energy felt off. Started walking out of rooms where your soul felt unheard, even when your voice was loud. Started protecting your space like your future lived in it. Because it does. Every time you stopped engaging out of guilt and started choosing alignment instead, you were healing in motion. Well, well, well. Look at you. You ever seen the look on someone's face when they realized the mask they thought you wore wasn't the mask at all? Yeah, that moment. That split-second glitch in their programming when it hits them. You're not the version of you they crafted in their little heads. You're not the pushover they thought they could play. You're not that silent background extra in their movie. Nah. You're the damn plot twist, and now they're panicking, sweating, scrambling. They just found out who the fuck you really are, and it's frying their circuits. Because here's the thing about you. You kept it low. You kept it quiet. You let them think you were soft, humble, manageable. You let them talk slick. You let them dismiss you, belittle you, ghost you, downplay you. Because you were busy. Busy becoming dangerous in silence. Busy stacking pain like ammo. Busy turning your demons into discipline. Busy becoming something they can't explain, and sure as hell can't contain. And now, they're shook. See, they don't know what to do with someone like you. Someone who walked through hell and came out laughing. Someone who took every betrayal, every lie, every smirk behind your back, and fed on it. They thought you'd break. They were counting on it. Hell, they were waiting for the day you'd finally fold. But you kept playing dumb while you were playing chess. And now, they're staring into the eyes of someone they can't manipulate, someone they can't guilt trip, someone who doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't flinch. You make people uncomfortable now because you remind them of everything they pretend to be. You reflect their mediocrity back at them, and they can't stand it. It's funny, isn't it? When you were quiet, they said you were weak. When you were kind, they said you were naive. When you loved, they took advantage. And now that you've woken up, now that you don't give a single damn about their approval, now that your voice shakes rooms and your presence ruins egos, they're calling you crazy. Of course they are. That's the label they slap on anyone who finally stops bowing. They don't hate you. They hate that you saw through them. They hate that you pulled your energy back. They hate that you evolved without their permission. But let's be real, they don't really miss you. They miss the version of you that tolerated their BS, the version that watered yourself down to keep the peace, the version that took blame, held guilt, swallowed anger. That version, dead and gone. Because the real you're a different breed now. You've tasted isolation, silence, and rock bottom, and came out with fire in your eyes and a laugh that echoes off walls. They don't get how you're still standing, how you're still breathing, how you've turned into this unapologetic, unpredictable, unbreakable force. They don't understand that you were never the victim. You were just the villain in disguise, waiting for the reveal. And now the mask's off. And baby, they're spiraling. The ones who tried to play you. They're Googling karma. The ones who thought they broke you. They're seeing you glow in rooms they can't enter. They're blocked, deleted, replaced. And your silence. That's the loudest scream they've ever heard. You ain't explaining yourself anymore. You ain't shrinking to fit in places you outgrew. You ain't waiting for anyone to clap for you. You became your own damn standing ovation. And deep down, they know, they feel it, they sense the storm in you. The kind of storm that doesn't knock. It levels. You are proof that survival isn't enough. You turned survival into dominance. You turned pain into armor. You turned rejection into fuel. You turned your breakdowns into blueprints. And now, they're whispering, watching, wishing. But they'll never admit it, because the truth is too painful. Because the truth is this: you were never the weak one. You were just caged. And now that you're out, now that you stopped begging for scraps from tables you could have flipped, they're losing it because they realize you're the fire they tried to smother, and all they did was make you hotter. They thought the silence meant surrender. They thought your absence meant defeat. But you were never gone. You were just loading, plotting, healing, outgrowing their little box with your name on it. And they hate that. They hate that you didn't crumble when they left, that you didn't chase or cry or turn bitter like they expected. You just leveled up in ways they never saw coming. You glowed up in silence. You healed in shadows. And when you stepped back into the light, you weren't the same person they dismissed. You're walking into rooms with a new kind of energy, the kind that makes people sit up straight, the kind that's felt before it's seen, the kind that says, without saying a damn word, I don't need to prove anything anymore. And that's what's killing them. They can't access you. They can't read you. They can't bait you. You're untouchable now, not because you built walls, but because you built standards. You started checking your own damn vibe. You stopped handing out front row seats to people who only came to throw shade. You stopped letting folks drain your soul like it was their birthright. You looked in the mirror one day and realized they weren't the storm. You were. You're not for everyone, and that's the point. You used to shrink just to be digestible. You used to sugarcoat your fire, dim your light, make yourself small just to make others feel tall. But something in you snapped. That final betrayal hit different. That silence after your lowest moment. It carved something ancient in your chest. And ever since, you've been operating on a whole different frequency. You stopped asking, stopped explaining, stopped begging for basic decency. You cut people off mid-gaslight. You walked away mid-lie. You started watching patterns, not promises. You're not even mad anymore. You're just done. Done trying to prove your worth to people who were never worthy of your presence. Done waiting for people to choose you when you finally chose yourself. And now they feel it. That shift, that detachment, that raw, unbothered energy that says, I remember everything. I just don't care anymore. They don't miss the old you. They miss the access. They miss the control. They miss the version of you who would have let them back in after the damage. But you don't move like that anymore. You're surgical with your energy. You've turned your back on anything that doesn't feel like peace, power, or purpose. You don't argue. You don't beg. You don't repeat yourself. You're done explaining why your standards feel like boundaries to people who had none. You're done lowering your vibration to vibe with people who ain't even done healing from the lies they told themselves. You're done holding space for folks who would never do the same for you. And they can't handle that. They're spiraling because you're thriving. They're gossiping because you're glowing. They're making up stories because the truth burns too deep. You became the villain in their story the moment you stopped being the fool in it. You became too much the second you stopped being used up. You became fake when you stopped being available for their dysfunction. And the best part? You don't even have to clap back. Your glow-up is the response. Your peace is the revenge. Your elevation is the loudest damn announcement you'll ever need. You're not who they thought. You never were. They just projected their limits onto your potential, their insecurities onto your silence, their weakness onto your patience. But patience has an expiration date, and yours. It ran out the second you saw the truth, that they only loved you when you were losing. They still don't get it. They think this is some phase you're going through, some ego trip, some inflated sense of self. They don't understand this is survival turned sacred, that every inch of confidence you carry is built from wreckage. Every ounce of power in your tone was earned, not handed, not inherited, not gifted, earned. In blood, silence, and long-ass nights, nobody checked on you. You didn't get better. You got smarter, colder, sharper. You learned to read tone, not words. Energy, not excuses. You learned that some people only clap for you if you're bleeding, that they loved the broken version of you because it made them feel whole. You were never the weak one. You were just surrounded by people who couldn't survive what you walked through. And now that you did survive, now that you're owning every room, every breath, every step, they're acting like you switched up. They call it arrogance because they've never seen you unapologetic. They call it ego because they're finally seeing you put yourself first. They call it cold because they were only warm when you were on fire. But deep down, they know exactly what's happening. They know they fumbled you. They know they played themselves. They're watching from the sidelines, confused, bitter, haunted by that one moment. That 1 second they thought you'd never rise. They see your face in every success they can't claim. They hear your name in rooms they can't enter. They feel your shadow in spaces they thought were safe. Because you live rent-free in the mirror now. Every time they check to see if they're still relevant, they gotta ask themselves why they let a real one walk. You stopped showing up to wars where peace was never on the table. You stopped trying to carry people who were just dead weight in disguise. You stopped twisting yourself into knots just to earn half-hearted loyalty. You outgrew it, all of it. The pity games, the fake check-ins, the manipulative guilt trips wrapped in just being honest. And you've never felt lighter, because nothing weighs more than staying where you know you're not seen. And nothing heals faster than walking away from people who only ever knew you as a version of yourself that barely made it. You became the kind of person they tell stories about. Only now, they gotta lie a little, twist the details, blur the truth, because saying, I lost them because I was fake, selfish, and manipulative doesn't sound good out loud. You're past the point of wishing it went differently. You don't want them to understand anymore. You just want distance, not to hurt them, not to teach them, just to breathe in peace without their projections choking your growth. They were a lesson. You were the realest thing that ever crossed their path, and they treated it like a detour. That's on them. You gave warning after warning. You showed grace when you should have shown teeth. You held space for people who wouldn't hold a damn umbrella for you in a storm. And they know, oh, they know. Every time they see your name, every time they hear your laugh, every time they see you thriving without them, it stings, Because there's no pain louder than watching someone become everything you said they'd never be. Without your help, without your presence, without your fake-ass support disguised as care. They lost access to the best version of you. The version that's not performing, not pretending, not praying for crumbs. The version that walks away clean, without slamming the door, without the drama, just a smile and a silence that hits like a verdict. You're not hard to love. They were just never built to love someone who doesn't beg for it. And isn't it wild how they thought you'd come crawling back, like your worth would somehow collapse without their half-assed attention, like you'd break the second they withdrew their validation, as if they were oxygen and not just background noise. They underestimated you because you were quiet, but quiet ain't weak. Quiet is lethal when it's laced with clarity. They didn't see the storm brewing while you smiled through the chaos. They didn't know you were learning them, learning their patterns, their tactics, their tells. You were clocking every fake apology, every guilt trip dressed up as concern, every little dig disguised as just being real. And now that you've detached, now that you move like they don't exist, they're spiraling, they're sending subliminals, they're watching your stories like it's research, they're checking in with mutuals to see if you've cracked. But you haven't. You've ascended. Because what they never grasped is that you don't lose sleep over people who showed you exactly who they are. You don't trip over bridges you burned on purpose. You don't shrink just to get back into spaces you outgrew. They wanted you confused. They wanted you unsure, second-guessing, too fogged up to realize your own damn power because a focused, healed version of you. That's a threat. You represent everything they tried to suppress. Truth, resilience, unfiltered self-worth. You're a walking mirror they can't look into for too long, because it reflects back everything they never had the guts to become. They had access to the most raw, loyal, ride-or-die version of you. And they played, laughed, took it for granted like it would always be there. They didn't know that loyalty like yours doesn't come back when it's disrespected. It evaporates, silently, effortlessly, with the kind of grace that hurts more than revenge ever could. You're not entertaining apologies that come with excuses. You're not sitting at tables where your name was thrown around like a joke. You're not replying to texts written out of boredom, ego, or guilt. Because your peace costs too damn much to let chaos rent space in your life again. You know what happens when people realize they had access to a version of you they'll never see again. They don't just miss you, they mourn you. They grieve the version of themselves that had you in it, and you feel it too. Not the loss, but the freedom, the wide-open clarity that hits once you stop twisting yourself to be lovable to people who don't even love themselves. The power in waking up and knowing nobody holds your peace hostage anymore. The weight that lifts when you finally stop apologizing for taking up space. You're not healed because of time. You're healed because you chose to be. Because you looked at your own wounds and said, "This stops with me." Because you crawled out of your own rock bottom with nothing but grit and stubborn self-belief. And anyone who can do that can't be shaken by people who never even had the courage to face their own reflection. And the irony is, they always swore you were the one who needed fixing. Like you were the emotional mess, the unstable one, the too sensitive one. They weaponized your heart against you, made it seem like feeling deeply was the flaw. But what they really feared was that kind of depth, because people like them, they operate on shallow waters, surface-level love, performative loyalty, fake empathy, And you were an ocean, and they couldn't swim. You were too real, too raw, too undeniably awake. You'd say what others were too scared to admit. You'd stand 10 toes down, even if it meant standing alone. You weren't built to blend in. You were built to shake the room. And the second you stopped censoring yourself, the second you stopped sugarcoating your worth to protect their egos, they labeled it as, "You've changed." Nah, you just stopped betraying yourself to make broken people feel whole. You started looking people dead in the eye and choosing yourself. No flinching, no guilt, no need to over-explain. You cut ties that were draining you dry. You broke cycles that ran in your family. You stopped trying to be the glue in relationships that only held you back. They thought you were gonna fold once you lost them. But you didn't lose anything. You gained the clarity to never settle again. You gained the silence that taught you how to hear yourself. You gained the distance that made your standards non-negotiable. You know how dangerous you become once you stop fearing loss. Once you stop making your identity revolve around being chosen, you become untouchable, unbothered, unapologetic. They can't figure out how you still laugh like that after everything, how you walk into rooms like you own the air, how you post with peace, how your glow doesn't dim even when they try to throw shade. They hate that you're not chasing closure anymore, that you're not looking for explanations from people who gaslit you into silence, that you're not playing their game or feeding into their drama or even checking for them at all. You disappeared to heal and came back, leveled the hell up, sharper, quieter, deadlier, with boundaries like armor and self-respect like a war cry. You don't flinch when you're misunderstood anymore. You don't overextend yourself for people who never show up. You don't water down your truth just to make others comfortable. Because once you've tasted peace, real peace, you stop craving chaos. Once you've met your highest self in the pit of your lowest moment, you stop negotiating your worth with people who can't even look you in the eyes without folding. And they feel that shift. They feel the absence of your energy like withdrawal. They feel the vacuum you left behind because real ones don't get replaced. They get remembered. And when that memory hits at 2 a.m., when the silence gets too loud, when their new circle still feels empty, that's when it really sinks in. They didn't lose some ordinary connection. They lost a rare fucking soul. And they'll try to act like they don't care. That you were just a phase, just another lesson. They'll play it cool, throw shade online, tell people you were too much, too intense, just to save face. Because admitting they lost the realest thing that ever stood in front of them, that kind of truth don't sit well with fake hearts. They'll rewrite history, downplay the connection, say they saw the red flags. But deep down, they know exactly what they did. They fumbled someone who would have gone to war for them, someone who gave loyalty even when it wasn't earned, someone who saw their darkness and still tried to hand them light. And that guilt? It doesn't just sting. It haunts. It plays on loop. In silence. In stillness. In those quiet-ass moments between pretending to be okay. Because energy don't lie. They feel what they lost, even if they'll never admit it. You left a mark, not the kind they can scrub off with distractions, not the kind that fades after a rebound or two, the kind that etches itself into their growth, the kind that echoes every time they meet someone who feels fake next to what you were. Because once you've been touched by real, mediocre feels hollow as hell. And while they sit around trying to act unbothered, you're out here becoming everything they said you couldn't be. Without needing their hand, their cosign, their fake support. You're building without noise. You're rising without needing validation. You're shining in rooms they'll never get invited into. And the best part? You're doing it with that same heart they tried to break. You didn't lose your softness. You just placed it behind steel. You didn't lose your empathy. You just stopped wasting it on ungrateful energy. And that balance you walk with now, that calm, that poise, that don't mess with me energy wrapped in elegance. That's the result of every time you chose growth over ego, every time you picked solitude over fake company, every time you stayed silent while they showed their true colors. You don't need to clap back. You don't need to clear your name. Your consistency speaks louder than their gossip ever will. Your glow is louder than their shade. Your peace is the loudest flex they never saw coming. And even when they pretend they're over it, even when they act like they've moved on, there's a part of them that will always flinch at your name. Not because you did anything wrong, but because you became the version of yourself they never thought you'd reach. The version they swore didn't exist. And now they gotta sit with that. Sit with the fact that the too emotional one became the most unshakable. That the too soft one learned how to cut energy off without blinking. That the one they counted out is the one everyone else is watching now. Aight, listen up. Yo, what's good, kings and queens? Yeah, you. The one they talking about in all those sneaky little convos they think you can't hear. The one who walked into the room and made the air shift without saying a damn word. The one they thought was done, over, dead, in the water. And now you got 'em losing sleep like they owe the streets money. You feel me? Because see, you ain't played the game their way, and that's what's breaking 'em down. You didn't beg. You didn't kiss no ass. You ain't suck nobody's D for a cosign. You ain't fake it to make it. You just fucking showed up. Real, raw, flawed, hungry, dangerous. And that's what's killing 'em inside. Not that you made it, but how you made it. You ain't dance for nobody. You ain't water yourself down to fit in with weak-ass people who secretly envy your power. You ain't play small so they could feel big. You said, nah, I'ma do me. And you actually did it. And that's the part that's got them spiraling. That's why they stalking your stories. Why they bring your name up in every room like they trying to summon a demon they can't contain. Let me tell you something. Most people ain't afraid of your failure. That's what they hope for. That's what makes them sleep good at night. Thinking you still down bad. Thinking you still trying to find your lane. But when you leveled up without him, when you didn't ask for a repost, didn't ask for a shout out, didn't get put on by no big dog, didn't ride nobody's wave, didn't switch up just to fit in with trends, man, that's when the hate started. That's when the silence got louder. That's when people who used to love you started acting funny, passive-aggressive, flaky, cold, like you did something wrong. But here's the truth. You ain't do shit wrong. You just broke the cycle. You woke up and realized that clout don't feed your soul. That validation from clowns don't pay your rent. That waiting for permission is how dreams rot from the inside out. You stopped playing nice and started playing for legacy and real talk. That's some terrifying shit for people who built their whole identity off being needed. Because you were supposed to need them. You were supposed to ask. You were supposed to stay in line. You were supposed to be a background character in their story. But now look at you, front line, spotlight, on 10, all eyes. And you ain't even peeking yet. You still figuring shit out, and they already panicking. You still growing, still learning, still taking L's behind the scenes. But the version of you they see now, that shit got 'em shook, and they don't even know the half of what's coming. Because it ain't just the money you chasin'. It ain't just the status, it's you. The real you. The one you had to bury under years of people-pleasing, self-doubt, survival mode, trauma, pain, and fake-ass friends who only loved you when you were broken enough to be controllable. But you out now, you free. And the second you freed yourself, it exposed the prison they still living in. That's why they bitter. That's why they callin' you changed. Like that's an insult. Like you were supposed to stay small forever so they could stay comfortable. Nah, fam. Fuck that. You got out the mud with no handouts. You turned rejection into rocket fuel. You heard every you ain't shit and used it like bricks to build your empire. You cried in silence. You worked while they laughed. You healed in shadows. You made peace with being misunderstood. And now they gotta watch you eat from a table you built yourself. No blue check, no famous uncle, no influencer collab. Just you and your fucking resilience. And that right there, that's why they losin' sleep. 'Cause you ain't owe nobody shit for your shine. You ain't submit to no click. You ain't lower your standards just to get posted. You didn't get hot from gossip. You got hot from grind. So let me ask you this. How the hell could they not be mad? You the blueprint they ain't trying to give credit to. You the glitch in the system. You the proof that all their little power plays and high school ass social politics. That shit don't matter when you're realer than all of them put together. And the wildest part, you still got love in your heart. You still ain't clapped back. You still show grace to people who threw dirt on your name. You ain't become bitter. You became better. You ain't get revenge. You got results. And that's the loudest fuck you in the world. So yeah, they losin' sleep. And they should be. Because when someone like you makes it, someone who never folded, never sold out, never dumbed it down, it makes the whole world rethink what the hell they've been doing. You broke the algorithm, you broke the illusion, you broke the limits, and now they looking at you like a threat. But you always were. They just didn't see it when you were quiet. And now that you ain't quiet no more. Now that you walk different, talk different, move different. Now that you ain't explaining yourself, ain't shrinking for nobody, ain't dressing down your glow so somebody else don't feel insecure. Yeah, that's when the mask came off. That's when you saw how they really felt. All that fake support turned into awkward silence. All those "I'm proud of you" texts dried up. The likes slowed down. The energy shifted, not because you changed, but because you ain't need 'em to breathe anymore. And let's be honest, bro. A lot of people liked you better when you were broke, confused, unsure of yourself, when you were second-guessing every move, when you were still begging for crumbs from tables you outgrew years ago, when you were still acting like you ain't know who the fuck you were. But now you know. Now you see. Now you woke up and realized, yo, I been that motherfucker. I just forgot for a minute, and the second that memory came back, it was a wrap. You ain't looking for a seat at nobody's table. You bulldozing your own lane through concrete. You ain't waiting for no cosign. Your name alone making noise now. They can't box you in, can't label you, can't predict your next move. And that's what got 'em pacing back and forth like their rent's late. 'Cause let's keep it a buck. They did everything to stop you. Backhanded compliments, sub-tweets, weird tension in the group chat, talking behind your back but acting cool when you pull up. Passive shade dressed up as concern, and still, you didn't fold. You ain't get petty. You ain't lower your vibration to match their misery. You just kept going. And the way you leveled up with that silent pressure, that shit was art. The way you stayed humble but unapologetic, that was different. The way you moved like you got nothing to prove, but everything to protect. Man, they don't know what to do with that kind of energy because you ain't performing no more. You ain't trying to look perfect for people who don't even know who the hell they are. You ain't chasing fake love from crowds that would drop you the second you stopped being useful. You ain't starving yourself emotionally just to keep dead weight close. You cut all that shit off. And what happened? Your peace got louder, your spirit got heavier, your presence turned spiritual. You walked into rooms with nothing but your name and a dream. And somehow, it still felt like a fucking earthquake when you spoke. Because it wasn't what you wore. It wasn't who you knew. It wasn't a viral moment. It was you. Just raw-ass authenticity. That I've been through hell and still ain't break energy. That I really did this by myself and I don't owe nobody shit energy. That if you left me at my lowest, don't spin the block when I'm up. Kinda energy. That's what's keeping them up at night. They can't figure it out. They can't understand how you ain't have the resources, the team, the followers, but you still made it shake. They can't wrap their head around how you never got invited to the table, and now you cooking 5-course meals in your own fucking kitchen. And guess what? You ain't even mad. You ain't holding no grudge. You just unavailable now. You ain't blocking them out of spite. You blocking them for protection. You ain't ghosting out of ego. You ghosting to preserve your peace. You ain't responding to the shade, 'cause you too busy responding to the bag, to the vision, to the version of you that's finally awake. You not bitter. You just done suffering for the sake of loyalty. You not arrogant. You just know your value now. You not cold. You just healing out loud, and that shit be making the wrong people uncomfortable. And honestly, that's none of your business no more. And that's the wildest part, right? You ain't even trying to flex. You just living. You just moving how you supposed to move. And somehow that's enough to make people feel attacked. You didn't throw shots. You didn't drop names. You didn't clap back. But the way you glow now, it's loud. The way your piece hit, that shit scream. The way you don't fold under pressure, that silence is violent to people who never found their backbone. See, most people never seen someone rise without politics. They can't fathom success without compromise. They don't understand how you made it without the cosign, the clique, the cult, the circle, the fake-ass collab game. Without selling your soul in a group chat for fake exposure. You ain't played dirty, you just stayed solid. And it's killing them, fam, for real. Because every time they hear your name now, they gotta sit with the fact that you ain't owe nobody shit, and you still became that person. The one who gets mentioned when ambition walks in. The one they tell their lil homies not to sleep on. The one they pretend not to watch. But they watching everything you do. Quiet, jealous, inspired, bitter. Because they thought the doors they closed on you were locked for good. But you kicked that shit off the hinges and walked in like, what now? And the scary part for them, you did it with nothing but pain, purpose, and pressure. You took every L and turned it into armor. You used every night you cried yourself to sleep as blueprint for your comeback. You built your name on sleepless nights, self-doubt, betrayal, and people acting like they loved you when they was just trying to leech off your light. You know what they mad at? That you ain't fold like they would've. That you ain't take the easy route. That you ain't get desperate and suck up to people who don't even know who they are without attention. You kept your dignity, and now they gotta deal with the fact that you're up and still real. That's rare, bruh. That's what separates you from all them clout-chasing clones. They viral, you valuable. They loud, you legendary. Because you ain't just pop out of nowhere. You earned every inch of this. You ain't never been an overnight success. You've been grinding in the dark for years. You've been taking hits behind closed doors, getting stabbed by people you fed, and still showing up with grace. They see the results now, but they don't see the rage, the loss, the silence, the betrayal, the long-ass nights where you sat up thinking, is this shit even worth it? And somehow, you ain't let it break you. You bent. Yeah, you bled. Hell yeah. But break. Nah, you different. That's what keeps them up at night. Not your wins. Your resilience. Not your glow. Your grit. Not your bag. Your backbone. Not your influence. Your integrity. 'Cause that's what they can't replicate. They can steal your style. They can copy your words. They can mimic your moves. But they can't clone your pain-to-power ratio. They ain't got the soul for it. They ain't got the stomach for it. You built this shit on scars. You built it on no's. You built it on you'll never make it. You built it on you changed. You built it on who do you think you are. And now, you walk in rooms with that energy like, I know exactly who the fuck I am. You ain't pressed. You ain't thirsty. You ain't trying to prove shit to people who already decided they don't like you. And you damn sure ain't begging for no seat at the table that was never built for you in the first place. Because let's be real, that table, it was never yours to sit at. It was built by folks who only pass out chairs to the people they can control. People who fear anyone too raw, too real, too self-made. People who hand out invites based on clout, not character. And you wasn't made to fit in. You was born to flip the whole damn room upside down just by being you. You didn't just walk away from that table. You lit your own candle, laid your own plate, said grace with your whole chest, and made a feast out of scraps they wouldn't even touch. And now, they trying to spin back like they always believed, like they was just giving you tough love, like they was protecting you from mistakes. Nah, fam, they was hating, flat out. And now they can't hide it no more, 'cause your glow up too loud. You got 'em studying your every move like it's gospel. They taking notes on the same blueprint they used to laugh at. But here's the kicker. You ain't even revealed your full playbook yet. This version of you, this ain't even final form. This is just you getting comfortable with your voice. Just you stepping into your power without flinching. Just you saying, I don't owe nobody shit, and I still made it further than half y'all with y'all whole team behind you. And that eats them alive. 'Cause the world taught them you had to play dirty to win. Taught them you had to sell yourself, dim your light, switch up, kiss ass, backstab, or ride some industry wave to get noticed. But then you came through with your unfiltered voice, your unmatched presence, your no label, no handout, no middleman ass energy. And now all their lil politics looking real goofy, real unnecessary. You ruined the illusion, dog. You reminded people that raw talent and real grind still matter, that spirit still matter, that doing it your way, with flaws, with scars, with your middle finger up to the system, still works. And it ain't just them you triggered. It's all the fake mentors, the big bro energy that came with strings attached, the gatekeepers who tried to lock you out because you ain't stroke their ego first. You ain't play the game. You flipped the board. You said, "Nah, I'd rather build from scratch than build under bullshit." And now, you got equity in your own identity. You own your name. You own your voice. You own your story. Every messy, painful, beautiful, broken, bold-ass chapter of it. So nah, it's not just jealousy keeping them up. It's regret. Regret that they overlooked you. Regret that they fumbled someone solid. Regret that they put clout over character. And now they watching someone real win. And ain't nothing scarier to a fake-ass person than seeing someone stay 100 and still get blessed. You the reminder that shortcuts ain't always worth it. You the walking consequence of betting against a chosen one. You the karma they never saw coming. And the way you stayin' low-key, still minding your business, still moving in purpose while they unravel themselves, just trying to keep up. Man, that's different. That's divine. That's some next-level chosen energy. And what's wild is, you ain't even raised your voice. You ain't dropped no names. You ain't subbed nobody. You ain't air out receipts, even though you got 'em stacked like ammo. You ain't say shit because you didn't have to. Your existence been loud enough. Just you showing up, living truthfully, healing, building, outlasting. That's the whole problem. They not tripping off a post. They tripping off your presence. 'Cause your presence say, I'm still here. Your presence say, everything you tried to kill in me, it survived. And that's something they can't scroll past. Your glow ain't store-bought. It's pain-built. It's forged in silence. It's layered in every time you held in tears to get shit done. It's sculpted in every, I got you. You gave to folks who left you hanging right after. It's wrapped in all that inner war nobody clapped for. And somehow, you still came out solid. Not bitter, not broken, not trying to get even, just better, sharper, realer. And you ever peep how people get extra uncomfortable when you don't die where they left you? They expected you to stay small, stay quiet, stay safe. Stay in that little box of almost made it, almost healed, almost became somebody. But you broke out. You ain't ask, you ain't wait, you ain't audition for permission. You just snatched your life back and said, bet, I'll figure this out on the way. And now, they shaken in private. They postin' quotes to mask the envy. They talkin' all that, it ain't that deep talk. When deep down, you shook the room without saying a damn word. Because they know what you had to crawl through. They know you ain't have safety nets, ain't have handouts, ain't have the luxury of failing without consequences. You fell and had to get up fast, while pretending you was fine, while still showing up for everybody else like your world wasn't burning down behind the scenes. And still, you got up. Not with pity, not with a GoFundMe story, not with a viral breakdown, just pure resilience. That gritty, grown-ass type of strength that don't come with applause. The kind that comes from losing yourself over and over and digging your way back every time. And that's the piece they miss. You ain't lucky, you lethal. Because now you move with discernment. You peep energy before people speak. You can read the room before they even know what time it is. You know how to smile without giving access. You know how to build without broadcasting blueprints. You know how to love from a distance. You know how to disappear when needed, then come back when it's chess, not checkers. You learn to stop showing your heart to hands that only reach when they need. You learn to stop explaining yourself to folks committed to misunderstanding you. You learned that quiet power lasts longer than loud clout. And that lesson, it cost you more than most will ever understand. And even with all that weight, you never dropped the crown. Even when your knees buckled, even when your heart cracked, even when your own reflection didn't recognize itself, You still held that shit steady. Not because you felt strong, but because you had no other choice. You had to become your own backup plan, your own safety net, your own fucking hero. You had to build confidence from ashes, trust from betrayal, purpose from pain, and you did it all while smiling for people who wouldn't even piss on your fire if you were burning alive. That's the level they don't see. That's the part that don't make the highlight reel. That's the version of you that makes them uneasy. Not because you're arrogant, but because your presence reminds them of everything they ran from inside themselves. You the type to outgrow rooms without slamming the door. You the type to go quiet when you elevate. You the type to show up clean, calm, and unbothered. But whole time, you done survived storms that would have destroyed the same ones throwing shade. And they know that. That's why they whisper. That's why they mimic you behind closed doors, but act brand new in public. That's why they throw fake love with one hand and pray for your downfall with the other. But none of that matters, because you ain't built for approval. You ain't built to be liked. You ain't built to fit in. You built for impact. You built to make shit shift when you walk in. You built to trigger weak spirits just by standing in your truth. You built to rise without explaining why you left them behind. And deep down, you knew it was gonna be lonely. You knew success would come with side eyes, fake hugs, awkward distance, energy switch-ups. You just didn't give a fuck no more. You finally reached that place where peace cost too much to entertain clowns. Where you ain't chasing love, you attracting it. Where you ain't begging for opportunities, you creating them. Where you ain't searching for yourself in rooms full of masks. You sitting with the real you in silence, and that silence healed you. And now, they up at 2 a.m. scrolling your page, making burner accounts to watch your glow. Dying slow deaths, trying to keep up with a version of you they swore would never happen. Ah, look who finally decided to wake the hell up. Look at you, standing there, face like stone, eyes like fire. You walk different now, like you've been through something, like you buried your old self with no funeral, no obituary, just a smirk and a flame. They don't even recognize you anymore, do they? The same ones who used to call you harmless now check over their shoulder when you speak. The ones who laughed behind your back? Yeah, now they whisper in front of you, but low enough to not get caught. You flipped the whole damn energy. You flipped yourself. And now they're looking at you like, who even are you now? That question, that's fear. That's confusion wrapped in insecurity, dipped in regret. You became what they never expected. You became dangerous, not the kind with guns or fists, the kind with vision, with peace, with self-control. You became untouchable. And that's what's frying their circuits. See, they were cool with you when you played small, when you tiptoed around their egos, when you second-guessed your own fire just to keep them warm. You used to ask for permission just to exist louder. Remember that. But now you walk in like you own the floorboards. You don't ask. You don't explain. You arrive. That's the glow-up they didn't see coming. This ain't a filter or a fresh haircut. This is a soul reconstruction. You gutted the old wiring, threw out the scripts, and built a version of yourself that don't need their applause to perform. And that is what's got them twitching. You're not looking for validation. You're not trying to be liked anymore. You are the disruption. You are the villain in their story. Because your success doesn't feed their fantasy anymore. It crushes it. And that makes you the monster they can't control. They keep staring like they're trying to solve a riddle. Same eyes, same name. But the presence? Alien? They don't know what to do with the new you. Because this version doesn't need saving. This version doesn't break down when ignored. This version disappears for months and comes back with a sharper tongue, cleaner circle, colder aura. You ghosted the old reality, and now you're haunting theirs. They keep asking, you changed. Nah, you upgraded. You burned the old blueprints and built yourself out of scars and silence. You stopped arguing with people who were never listening. You stopped trying to explain storms to people who only live in sunshine. And when you did that, you leveled up in ways their ego couldn't process. You became the version of you that makes them uncomfortable, because it reminds them of who they'll never become. That glow? It ain't pretty. It's violent. It's not the soft kind that makes people feel cozy. It's the kind that exposes lies, that burns away illusions, that makes people see themselves when they look at you. And most people hate their reflection when it ain't dressed in delusion. You're the mirror. You're the reminder. You're the what if that keeps them up at night. What if I believed in myself like they do? What if I had the guts to change like they did? What if I wasn't so busy trying to fit in that I actually fit into my own skin? They don't hate you. They hate the fact that you proved them wrong, that you crawled out of the cage they swore you'd never leave. They see your peace and call it arrogance. They see your confidence and call it ego. They see your power and call it scary. Because they've never known what it looks like when someone finally stops begging for scraps and builds their own fucking table. You're walking proof that healing ain't pretty. That growth comes with casualties, that glow-ups leave blood on the floor. Because not everybody gets to come with you. And you were always too big for the room. You just forgot for a little while. You got caught in the noise, the guilt, the expectations. You thought being quiet would keep you safe. But safe was killing you. So you shed that skin. You cracked your own code. And the version of you standing here now, it's not here to make anyone comfortable. It's not here to play small or be realistic. It's here to disrupt, to dominate, to detonate every damn box they tried to trap you in. They're scared? Good. Let them be scared. Let them choke on their confusion. Let them drown in their gossip. Because while they're busy studying the new you, you're already becoming something even bigger. You ain't done. This glow up? This is just phase 1. And they already can't sleep. They thought you peaked, huh? That this version of you, the one with the sharper eyes and quieter mouth, was the final form. They don't even realize this is just your warm-up round. See, people forget. When you stop living for approval, you stop following the script. And when you stop following the script, you start doing things that scare people. You stop giving rehearsed smiles. You stop shrinking to make room for people who bring nothing to the table but ego. You stop letting people guilt trip you for having standards. And that right there, that boundary-setting glow hits different. It ain't the kind of shine that comes from a spa day. It's the kind that comes from choosing yourself over and over. Even when it's lonely, even when it's loud, even when you've got a whole crowd whispering, who do they think they are now? You know what they're really asking? They're asking, how did you escape? How did you break out of the box they labeled you in? How did you dodge their projections, survive the doubt, and come back swinging with a grin on your face and scars on your chest? They hate that you're not looking for revenge. You're looking for nothing. You're too far ahead. You're not even in the same game anymore. You used to care, didn't you? used to run your wins through a filter, used to tone it down to keep the peace, used to lower your volume just so people wouldn't feel insecure. But that version of you, gone. You buried that soft-spoken version like a memory you don't need anymore. You didn't just glow up, you erased the damn manual. And now, you got people watching you like you're a glitch. You make moves without posting about it. You heal in silence. You elevate in chaos. And while they're stuck in the same old cycles, you're living like the rules never applied to you. Because they never did. You broke the timeline. You weren't supposed to be this confident, this clear, this unfazed. You were supposed to fold. They counted on you crumbling, on you staying broken just long enough for them to feel taller. But you flipped the narrative. You used the rubble as raw material. You turned every setback into fuel, and every scar into strategy. They think you're unpredictable now. Nah, you're unbothered. You're not triggered by the same old bait. You don't rise to nonsense. You let people talk. And talk they will. Because your silence screams louder than their gossip ever could. They say you've changed. They're damn right. You stopped being their puppet. You stopped needing their cosign. And that's why they're pressed. Because you figured out the one thing they didn't want you to know. You don't owe anybody your softness, not when they only showed up to drain you. You learned how to protect your peace. You stopped entertaining people who only clap when it benefits them. You shut the door and locked it from the inside. And what did that do? It made you mysterious. It made you powerful. It made you the type of person they can't define anymore. You're not the nice one. You're not the easy one. You're not the one they can call last minute, dump their mess on, then vanish when you need someone. You've outgrown the whole damn dynamic. You're not cold. You're calculated. You're not mean. You're measured. You're not distant. You're disciplined. You're not heartless. You're just finally choosing you. That glow up, it wasn't aesthetic. It was surgical. It was spiritual warfare. You didn't just change clothes. You changed frequency and the people who can't find you anymore. They were never meant to come with you. Let them sit in confusion. Let them scroll through your page wondering why your smile looks different, why your energy feels heavier, why your wins keep stacking and their shade keeps bouncing off you like it don't even register. You're a walking contradiction now, smiling but untouchable, kind but unavailable, present but out of reach. And every step you take into this newer, stronger, realer version of yourself, you leave behind another broken version of who you were trained to be. And here's the thing that really messes with them. You didn't announce this version of yourself. No big speech, no long post, no dramatic exit. You just moved different. And that silence, it shook the fucking room louder than any megaphone ever could. You didn't need a rebrand, you needed a rebirth. And you didn't ask anyone for permission to start over. You just did it. Quietly. Aggressively. Now look at them, fumbling, speculating, overanalyzing. They swear you're acting brand new. But the truth is, you just stopped acting at all. No more dimming, no more playing along, no more squeezing into boxes with no air. You're breathing now. Deep, unrestricted, unfiltered. And they hate it, not because you're loud, but because you're clear. Clarity is threatening. When you stop second-guessing yourself, you become a mirror they can't look into, because it shows them what they could have been if they had just grown a backbone instead of a following. You've got a glow that's built from rejection, a vibe that was molded in silence, and a presence that screams, "I don't need you. I found me." You became too expensive for their energy budget. You cost attention, presence, growth, and they can't afford you anymore. You stopped explaining yourself to people who were never listening. You stopped dressing your power up as politeness, and you stopped offering your energy to people who only loved you in pieces. The pieces that were manageable, soft, non-threatening. But now, you're the full fucking version, unpackaged, unpolished. They try to find cracks in you now, poke holes in your story, expose something flawed. Why? Because your existence now feels like proof that comfort zones are prisons, and they'd rather call you fake than face their own laziness. But look at you. You got out. You crawled through your own rock bottom and came out cleaner, meaner, and wiser. You earned this version every cold night, every fake friend, every ignored message, every tear that hit your pillow while your phone stayed dry. That shit built you. You didn't get lucky. You got intentional. And they can't stomach that. Because deep down, they know the only thing standing between who they are and who they want to be is the work they're too scared to do. You became self-made, self-fed, self-healed. You walked away from comfort and straight into accountability. They don't miss you. They miss the version of you that needed them, that kept quiet, that apologized for existing too boldly. But you outgrew that skin. It didn't fit anymore. Too tight, too fake, too filtered. You needed something real, something that could hold all of who you are, even the parts that scare people, especially those parts. Now they say you're intimidating. No, baby. You're just finally visible. You're not hiding your intelligence behind fake humility. You're not sugarcoating your boundaries. You're not rounding your edges to make soft people comfortable. You're a walking audit. When you show up, the room shifts, not because you're loud, but because your energy carries receipts. Receipts for every moment you chose to rise instead of stay broken. You're the reminder that survival isn't enough anymore. You want domination. You want legacy. You want peace that can't be bought, and presence that can't be faked. And it terrifies them, because if you could glow up like that, if you could build a life without begging for access, then what's stopping them? Answer, their own damn comfort. But not you. You got tired of waiting. You stopped knocking. You became the door. And now, they ask, who even are you anymore? Tell them, I'm the version you swore would never exist. The one you thought you'd bury in gossip, starve with doubt, break with silence. But look again, you didn't just survive. You became the storm. Not the kind that shows up screaming and throwing shit around. No. You became the kind that rolls in quiet, sky going dark, pressure rising, vibe shifting. The kind that makes people look up and say, something's coming? Yeah, you. You used to tiptoe. Now your footsteps sound like countdowns. You used to hope people understood you. Now you're fine being misunderstood because you understand yourself. And that right there, that's the death sentence for codependency. You don't need them anymore. You don't chase clarity from cloudy-ass people. You don't argue to be seen by people wearing blindfolds. You're too busy evolving, too busy building, too busy becoming. And that becoming, it's loud. Even when you say nothing, that's the part that's frying their circuits. Because everything they thought was your limit turned out to be your launch pad. They thought pain would paralyze you. Nah. You weaponized it. You cooked in the chaos. You did the ugly work while they were out pretending. They were performing, you were transforming. They stayed busy, looking like they were healing. You stayed quiet and actually did it. And now, you're untouchable. Not because you're above them, but because you don't operate in the same emotional currency anymore. They're trading in clout. You're stacking clarity. They're chasing relevance. You're locked in on impact. They want noise. You want results. You're not for everybody now. And that's the whole fucking point. You're not accessible like you used to be. You're not a walk-in clinic for people with emotional paper cuts. You're not a sponge for other people's projections anymore. You don't sit there absorbing doubt, begging for a little damn sunlight. You became your own ecosystem, your own weather, your own center of gravity. And now, people orbit you out of curiosity. They want to know your routine, your secret, what books you read, what affirmations you whisper. But they don't get it. It wasn't just about habits. It was about identity. You stopped reacting and started remembering who the hell you are. You looked in the mirror and said, "I'm not meant to survive this life barely breathing. I'm meant to run shit." And from that moment on, everything changed. They call it ego. You call it finally seeing your worth without squinting. You don't lower your standards anymore. You raise your isolation. You don't ask people to match your energy. You watch how they move and adjust accordingly. You don't teach people how to treat you. You show them with your absence, and when you do speak, it hits, because there's weight behind your words now. You don't talk just to fill silence. You speak when it matters. And when you do, it feels like the whole fucking room leans in. You earned that presence, that confidence, that "don't fuck with me" energy that makes your ex-friends stutter and your haters panic scroll. And all of that, it didn't come from being lucky. It came from being relentless. It came from being tired of your own excuses, tired of sitting on potential like it was furniture instead of using it like a weapon. Now you're the walking consequence of every time someone tried to dim your light, and you decided to turn the wattage up instead. They can't read you now, because you're no longer a script. You're a saga. You're not a chapter they skipped. You're the plot twist that wrecked their assumptions. You didn't disappear. You reloaded. And they know it. They feel it. In the way your name comes up more often, in the way they check your stories and never engage, but always watch. They want to know what's next. They want to know what you're building. They want to know if there's still a way back in. But you're not in the business of reopening doors you had to burn down to escape. You're not bitter. You're just done. Done negotiating your worth. Done explaining your glow. Done waiting for people to catch up while you've been sprinting through dimensions. You're unrecognizable now. And not just in looks, in mindset, in movement, in the quiet violence of your self-respect. Let him ask, who even are you now? Let him panic. Let him spiral. Let him sit with the realization that the old you isn't coming back. Because you didn't just glow up. You woke the fuck up. And that alone, that shattered everything they thought they had figured out about you. See, they loved you when you were easy to pin down, predictable, manageable, that watered-down, over-explaining, self-blaming version of you. That's the one they could manipulate. That's the one they could gaslight, guilt-trip, mold into something soft enough to not challenge their comfort zones. But now, you show up with boundaries that feel like barbed wire. You say no without a 6-paragraph explanation. You leave texts on read when they come with entitlement. And your silence, it's got people running diagnostics like you're a broken machine. But you're not broken, you're upgraded. You're operating on a frequency that can't be picked up by people stuck in ego, envy, and emotional laziness. They can't tune in because they're still trying to find you on the old wavelength you burned to the ground. You became the plot twist nobody was ready for. And instead of trying to shrink back and make them comfortable, you're out here building entire worlds they'll never get access to. And the wild part is, you're still just getting started. You ain't even hit top speed yet. You're still breaking off old thought patterns like crust. Still learning how to live without over-explaining your joy. Still figuring out how to love yourself in broad daylight without checking if it's too much. That's what's really setting people off. The fact that you're not even close to your final form, and already they're spiraling. Already they're comparing. Already they're stuttering when your name comes up. You're not bragging, you're breathing. And they're mad, it sounds like thunder. They used to define you by what you lacked. Now they're choking on the richness of who you've become. You used to apologize for your presence. Now your presence walks into rooms like a verdict. You're unapologetic without being cruel. You're focused without explaining why you disappeared. You're leveled up without posting motivational quotes every 5 minutes. Because your existence is the damn quote. They used to laugh at your dreams, call you extra, delusional, too intense. But now those same people are quietly biting their tongue, watching you turn your too much into exactly what the world can't stop paying attention to. They want to act like they don't see it, like they don't feel the shift, like they didn't notice your whole demeanor change. But let's be real. They see you. They feel the glow through the screen. They hear the confidence in your voice when you speak. And every time they try to bring up the old you in conversation, it's their own ego begging for relevance. It's their comfort zone throwing a tantrum because the version of you that made them feel safe doesn't live here anymore. You don't owe anyone a throwback, not when they had front row seats to your pain and still chose to clap when you stumbled, not when they laughed while you were building and now act confused by your structure, not when they dismissed your vision and now want a tour of the empire. Let them sit outside. Let them tell themselves whatever they need to sleep at night. You ain't bitter. You're just not extending grace to people who weaponized your vulnerability like it was sport. You're building different now. Stronger foundation, smaller circle, louder standards. And if they can't handle the new you, that's not your glitch. That's their outdated software refusing to update.